Skyloft suite. I have with me here Kelly Richards. She's the president and CEO of the All Access Group LLC. We are all part of the Real Vision conference that is going on downstairs. I'm actually
the takeover.
It's the takeover, and I'm pretty impressed with the whole process. The interview last night with Raul and Bill, I thought was excellently produced. Bill had such an interesting insight to everything, and Raul did a great job.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit, Kelly. First of all, thank you for coming on. I know you have
Pleasure's mine.
A rich history. So tell us a little bit about yourself, your business, and what brought you here to the Real Vision conference.
Okay. Well, people call me a visionary, a super connector in the realm of Silicon Valley meets Hollywood. I have been bridging those worlds throughout my entire career for the last 35 years, starting with having birthed music and entertainment at Apple and run that during its the first 12 years of its incarnation leading up to the launch of iTunes. I was privileged to have Steve Jobs as a mentor as a teenager all the way through when he died. And I've always worked with really bright, creative talent, whether they come out of music, entertainment, or technology and innovation. So I'm just somebody who's very... my company is all about me doing that in the world. I'm very multidimensional. I see opportunities and possibilities and connections that other people don't. Mm-hmm. And I collect people like matches. It's just who I am. And then I also act as a trusted advisor to high achievers who've already had a lot of success, typically but not exclusively out of music, entertainment, and technology, where these people have made a lot of money. It's not about money anymore. It's what's next that's fulfilling and meaningful as they create their legacy and impact in the world.
Well, it's so interesting. It must be very fulfilling.
Yeah.
I was with I have a private doctor that I go see for, whatever. And he ended up being my psychologist the other day. Because I was like, well, the wife and, she's not really that happy because of this, that, and the other. And we were talking about how after a certain amount of money, it doesn't equal more happiness.
No.
And, up to a certain amount, yes, it does.
Well, and also people at that level who are very successful are lonely. They can't trust anyone. They need people around them who are going to tell them the truth and help them navigate the waters in a meaningful, contextual way as to what's next for them. How else can they add value?
What is their role, right? What is their, what am I supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
What is their legacy?
Yeah.
That's what my wife says. Bruce, I think I should be doing this. And, and of course it's a natural thing, as you move forward. So it must be so interesting. Steve Jobs was the inventor of our time.
Indeed.
He changed the world. We're actually on an iPhone right now, broadcasting on LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, and something else. And it's all right here. And I go around the world like this.
Yes.
And it's all enabled because of the iPhone.
That's
when I was
right.
a kid, I thought, gosh, wouldn't it be great if there was some device that I could hold in my hand and I could tell me everything. And we have.
And that's effectively what it is.
Yeah.
And it's hard to imagine what life was like 15 years ago before it was on the scene.
Yeah.
You'd have to lug around big cameras, microphones, rigging. Just now look what you could do.
Exactly.
A tripod and an iPod, and you're good to go.
So
an iPhone.
What was that like, working with having Steve Jobs as a mentor, and knowing him like that?
He got me right away as a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
He said early on, you can see around corners. And because he was like that, he got it. I mean, we're just so synergistic. Mm-hmm. And we would have these walk and talks. We both grew up in Cupertino in Silicon Valley, where I still live. It was all orchards then, before Silicon Valley. And so we would take walks. And when he was building the new Apple spaceship campus, I said, now, Steve, wouldn't it, because he's building it right on the land where orchards were. I said, wouldn't it be great if we added back an apricot orchard in a corner of the land? He said, I love that idea. So that it is there today. And I'm so thrilled and honored to have had a part of that.
Yeah.
But just little things like that, little things and big things. We would have talks about all kinds of stuff. But because we could really talk and we were so synergistic with each other at high levels that most people didn't get, very multidimensional, we could cover so much information in very little time. I don't have a lot of people I can have those kind of conversations with until, and this is not a campaign for Real Vision per se, but until I arrived last night and I sat down at the first dinner, including with Jay and Jay Moore. And I met my kindred spirits, tribe members. We were all kind of up in the same lofty arena about possibilities and vision and it it was just fantastic.
Well, that is amazing, and it's our first time at Real Visions. Jay Moore is, of course, the co-founder of Prasaga, calls himself the chief collaboration officer. He's really an amazing person. He's a visionary that has put that together. But it's all of our first times, and we agree, and especially with the black, the VIPs and the speakers and everything else. There's a very successful and important group of people that Raul has curated, and you really have to take a step back and look at it. And that's what one of the things I was impressed with last night was, this guy, and again, it's not an ad for Real Vision, but he has created this whole thing basically on his personality.
Yes.
And
his integrity.
And his integrity. And so that is really something else.
There's nothing more powerful than curating a group of the brightest minds that are all inherently collaborators, creators, connectors. It's just so powerful when you put these people in a room. It's surprising the roof doesn't blow off.
Well, it's so cool. So, are you allowed to tell me about some of maybe the actors and the musicians?
Well, some of them are I kept a lot of the more prominent people in the vault for decades.
Of course.
Because I'm so protective of them and their confidentiality.
Right.
It was only until a year ago when I overhauled my website for the All Access group that it's kellyrichards.com now. But anyway, I did start to reveal some of the people I worked with, like the likes of Michael Jackson, Prince, Todd Rundgren, Stuart Copeland of the Police, all and more. Very bright, talented, forward-thinking visionaries in each and every one of them. These are the kind of people I love working with, as genius types.
Right. Michael Jackson, he was like a hero. I mean, I know, people, nobody knows though. That's the thing. But people say this and they say that, and but he was an amazing guy.
He was an amazing guy and a very sweet person.
Yeah.
That I think was
did a lot of good.
Misrepresented a lot of the time.
Yes.
Because he did have some eccentric behaviors, as many of these genius types do. Right. Almost all of them do.
Yeah.
They're not normal people.
Right.
So why we created the Think Different campaign. That's to honor those kind of people that change our world. And I was just telling somebody at dinner last night how I got off Flight 93 on 9/11, which is a miracle in itself.
Wow.
But the reason that I was going to go out to New York at all back then was because I was one of the producers on Michael Jackson's 30th anniversary Madison Square Garden shows. And the second one being the night before 9/11.
Yeah.
And I just had a horrible intuition not to go to New York and lose that tremendous career opportunity. But my intuition would not let me get on the plane to go out there. And then later, when I was watching the second tower fall with my grandmother back home in Cupertino, we looked at my flight itinerary, and there I was on 93, which was the next plane that was going to get whacked.
Wow.
So when Mike told Michael that, he started crying.
Yeah.
He was like, because I felt so bad that I couldn't get there to work with him on the show as I'd planned. And he just was like, it was so touched. It was so touching to see him have that reaction,
So this, obviously, I'm sure people have described you as clairvoyant or have clairvoyant type of tendency. Is that something that you've had kind of your whole life?
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Has it developed as you've gotten older?
Yeah, it has, because I've trusted it more and more as I've gotten older. But I'm really, as I've gotten older, it's all about, to me, marrying spirituality and business and making it okay to bring all of that together and being okay to trust the universe and talk about it and not be so woo-woo.
Yeah.
Because that's really how I live my life and how I serve my clients. But when I was younger, I didn't have a lot of people that got me that way. And I would see people say, I see dead people. I saw possibilities. I saw the way things would connect. I saw the convergence of music technology when I was a teenager. And nobody would get it until I met Steve, who got me and said, oh my God, you are one of these people.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Well, it's so cool. I'm so glad to sit down with you. It's one of the most fulfilling things that I do. I say it on camera a lot, but to be able to sit down with some of the smartest and the brightest and the most wonderful people is a real pleasure, and it's an honor, and it's something I really enjoy doing. We just flew in from San Juan. As a matter of fact, we're going to Dubai again. We'll be at the Retosa Family Office Summit next week. So I know that you probably keep a very active schedule as well. You're in California. I mean, what does your normal month look like? Do you travel around?
Well, I'll answer that question in just a sec, Bruce. But I want to go back to one other point about that we were talking about just a minute ago. And I'm sorry to jump around for our viewers,
go for it.
It's that it's very hard to be someone like myself. It's a lonely place to be a multidimensional visionary who thinks very holistically in a world that's very fragmented and siloed. And I think the hardest part has been seeing and envisioning possibilities that don't manifest for 10, 20 years in the media world, in the technology world. I've spent most of my life living inside a crystal ball waiting for the world to catch up.
Right.
And that's very lonely.
Yeah.
But luckily, that time is collapsing as time goes on. I kept wondering, am I going to retire before I see all my visions manifest? And now they're happening very fast in these last 10 years. So I just wanted to throw that in.
Well, that is interesting. So happening fast, do you think it's
like Moore's law. It's like Moore's law. You know, everything just collapses. The faster we go, the smaller things get, and the faster things manifest.
It does
because
seem
people
like
are mindset is actually caught up with people being receptive to these possibilities.
Amazing.
Where a lot of people just didn't get it until they had an iPhone in their hands and had the possibility of what they could do with it.
Yeah, and to know everything, to, like I said, to just basically know everything. You know, any question that you have, you know, boom.
Yeah. What did we do before Google?
I don't know.
We had
they even changed it. You used to search. Oh
gosh. It took a whole rack of the living room, you know, bookcases.
We all had them.
Yeah,
I remember
everybody had them.
We had a couple of different
and Google
brands.
Google, the minute Google went on the scene, those were dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Nobody ever did that ever again.
So you're here.
But anyway, day in the life. You wanted a day in the life.
Yeah, I did.
You know, I haven't traveled a lot because none of us have during the shutdown. You probably traveled a lot more than I have recently.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I'm just starting to, you know, open the kimono again and get out in the world and do travel more. I haven't traveled internationally in the last several years for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But I do tend to spend a lot of time on the West Coast, mostly California, because there's so much going on there.
Yeah.
You know, and so many people come to us that I haven't had a lot of reason to travel, but I'm excited about doing more international travel in the next couple of years.
So you mentioned us. You know, what does your team look like, and what does your average client now look like? Who is your target market? Maybe here at Real Vision.
Well, frankly, just about all the people here are potential clients or collaborators.
Right.
You know, because like I said, we're all birds of a feather, kindred spirits. I'm either working as, and it's just me, by the way. My company is just me.
Okay.
I do bring in outside vendors and consultants when I need them for SWAT team scenarios, but it's mostly just me. The thing I love doing the most, I'm still a consultant to cutting edge technology companies and bridging, you know, entertainment in the digital media realm, all kinds of technologies, you know, NFTs, metaverse, you know, concerts, virtual concerts, hybrid concerts, all kinds of stuff. But the thing I love doing the most is serving as a trusted advisor to these high achiever, genius, brilliant, innovator types, where I really do help them navigate what comes next in their lives and work through challenges and obstacles and mindset challenges and getting in their own way and making connections for them that they otherwise wouldn't have.
It's amazing.
And that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, I really want you to come out to NFT NYC. It's going to be in June again. I went out there. I didn't go for the whole thing. I just went for a day. I let me come in as press, and they said, okay, fine. And I set a bunch of interviews. And actually, Jay and I were talking about it earlier. He said, man, those interviews that you did out there, it was like every one of them was good. You know? Like the thought leadership and the cutting edge, you know, technology and everything coming out in that NFT space and in the metaverse space. Is just, it's crazy. Yeah. And it was like it was a Woodstock moment. My last interview of the day, I got to interview Jody Rich, who's the guy behind the whole thing, and he puts on the events. So we'll definitely be there again, but I think you should come and you should speak. You really should get up there.
There's still a lot to learn about both. I mean, I'm one of these people, again, because I've been so far in the future, so far back, that I was playing with what is now the metaverse with different incarnations of it, you know, 27 years ago. Yeah. When Time Warner came out with the Palace, and we had avatars and in-world immersive things in the early 2000s, and it just was too early for what is now the metaverse.
And absolutely, we've all seen it coming. And you know, with the NFTs, I say it all the time. The big corporations now see a way that they can protect their intellectual property, and whether they can protect it before or not, now they think they can. And so we're going to see this mass adoption of crypto and blockchain even more. I think less than 5% of the population actually holds any crypto. Yeah. And, you know, so.
Probably scared by the false start of things like Bitcoin 5 years ago and, you know, things that were, again, just a little too early for mass adoption.
Well, and you look at it now, I mean, of course, we all think Bitcoin's going to go up, but it could go down. It's really high. Yeah. And so if you buy now, it's a little scary. Yeah. Right? Yeah. I mean, gosh, what are we up? You know, this year is huge. So.
But NFTs, you know, as well, still nascent.
Yeah.
Still very nascent.
And the
Lot
amount
to
of
learn.
money coming into the
Mhm.
NFTs is just absolutely
Mhm.
astounding. And that's a lot of new money.
Yes.
It's money that wasn't in blockchain or Bitcoin before. And when you see Marvel and Disney and these other
they're drinking the Kool-Aid.
Budweiser and these other major brands coming in and doing their NFTs.
But the real question about that for me, Bruce, is we're still having a lot of elite, high-end people that can afford big-ticket NFTs. At what point and how fast will we see mass adoption for the layperson?
Right.
I don't know the answer to that.
I don't know either. But it's something we'll all be working on.
Yep,
I
and learning
can tell
about.
you that and learning about. It's Kelly Richards. It's kellyrichards.com. That's with an I. I appreciate you coming on so much.
My
If
pleasure.
you have any last thoughts, maybe give those or the Twitter
No,
handle, anything like that.
visit my site if you want to learn more. Again, it's kellyrichards.com, Kelly with an I, Richards with an S. And if anybody has any thoughts or ideas, you want to reach out to me, I'm very approachable. I'm easy to reach.
See, yeah, totally awesome.
Thank you so much, Bruce.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.